Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC EduSet live lecture. Dear friends, we would like to tell you all that today we are going to talk on a very interesting topic. We have seen the aggressive behavior among the children, and sometimes we are pissed off and we think of how to deal with it. So we would like to tell you all that today we would be talking on aggressive behavior which is prevalent among students, among children. We would be discussing on the concept and types of aggressive behavior in our first session, whereas in the second half we would be discussing on what are the measures to control such kind of behavior. And we would like to tell you all that for this very discussion on aggressive behavior, we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Parveen Sharma. Dr. Parveen Sharma is Associate Professor in Hindu College of Education, Sonipat. Dr. Sharma has immense experience. She has been teaching since long. A number of students are pursuing their PhD under her able guidance. She has written a number of articles which have been published in various reputed journals both at national and international level. Also, we would like to tell you all that Dr. Parveen Sharma is a counselor. She keeps on giving counseling sessions to the children as well as students, the teachers as well as the parents. So we believe that she is the most appropriate person to talk on the aggressive behavior. Without wasting any time, I would like to welcome our guest, Dr. Parveen Sharma. Dr. Sharma, welcome to the EduSet lecture.
Thank you, Geetika ji. Good morning, friends. Today we will discuss in this session what is aggressive behavior, what is its concept, what are its types, and what measures we can adopt to control the aggression among the youngsters. Well, friends, to begin with, I'll ask what happens when the things do not go the way we want, we desire. Naturally, we feel frustrated, we get angry, and in that anger, what we do, we just try to displace or give outlet of that anger to our youngsters or the persons who are weak to us in hierarchy. Is it fair to do this? When we get angry, is it genuine to displace that anger to the person who is weaker to us? No, it's not fair. Then what the individual should do, what is the role of parents in that situation, and what the teacher should do? We'll discuss all these issues in this session because it is really a burning issue. It has become a social issue. Well, to begin with, I would like to say that anger is a feeling and aggression is a behavior, because the children and youngsters and sometimes even adults, they get frustrated, they get angry. But my dear friends, I must tell you that anger always have a reason. It is never without any reason. So we'll see what is the reason of that anger and why the youngsters or the adults or the students behave in an aggressive manner. Further, I would tell you that aggression can be constructive as well as destructive. Let us see. Aggression in young people is an important social issue. Children and youth who behave aggressively may harm not only themselves but also their families, their communities, and society at large. What is anger? Weakness of a person is anger. So it means when one is weak, then tries to get angry. If you are right, if you are correct, you will not be angry. Anger in human beings is depicted in many forms. It may be in the form of extreme rage or resentment, or at times it may be depicted in the milder forms of irritation or annoyance. It may be found combined with the feelings of fear or grief or in jealousy or with feelings of fear in hatred. It means one gets angry when one may be in fear, one may be in grief, or one may be in jealous. So all these feelings of fear, grief and jealousy makes the person to get angry. Anger is a emotion, anger is a feeling. When one gives it outlet to the anger, then we can say that it is aggression, and aggression may be constructive and may be destructive also. So we have to discuss how to control that destructive aggression among the youngsters. People may expect from you a lot, and when you are not competent to do that, or when you are not competent, you are not able to achieve the goal, achieve the desired skills, you may have high expectations but you fail to achieve them. What will happen? Naturally you will be angry because you want to do a lot and you are not able to do that, you are not able to perform that. So naturally you will be angry. As I have just now said, that anger always have a reason. So we have to find out what is that reason, and where lies the reasons, where lies the causes, and what methods we can adopt, what any individual can do himself or herself to give the right direction to that anger, how that destructive aggression can be a constructive aggression, and what the teachers, how the teachers can guide the individual, and what role parents can play. See, what is aggressive behavior? Ignoring or dismissing the needs, wants, opinions, feelings or beliefs of others, expressing your own needs or wants in appropriate ways. When you just want to express your needs in an appropriate manner, then what happens? You get angry. So let us discuss further what is the meaning of aggressive behavior. Aggressive behavior causes physical or emotional harm to others or threatens to. Aggressive behavior is a problem because it occurs frequently or in a pattern. Generally speaking, aggressive behavior stems from an inability to control behavior. When one is not able to control himself or herself, then what happens? Then the outlet or the outburst of that anger is there, which may not be appropriate. You may not be able to express that anger in a right situation, from misunderstanding or what kind of behavior is appropriate. What is appropriate? It is a relative term. Sometimes it is appropriate for one person and may not be appropriate for the another person. Aggressive behavior rarely happens without a reason. Try to understand this sentence. Meaning by, when one is angry, definitely there lies a reason. So we have to find, before we try to find out the measures to control the anger or that aggression among that individual, we have to see what reason can be, where lies the causes, because definitely if one is making outburst in that anger, may have some genuine reason. Aggression can be constructive or destructive. See, aggression is when an individual becomes actively engaged in any pursuit or in any goal. Meaning by, suppose one is having a target, one is having a goal to accomplish, then if one become aggressive that I have to do it, that is a constructive aggression. Some form of behavior are healthy, such as eager pursuit of an education or proactively initiating a discussion with people at a social event. Meaning by, as I have said, that it can be constructive when any individual is making a target that I have to complete this goal and I don't have to take rest without completing this goal, without reaching my destination point. Then in that aggression, one is just putting more and more efforts to achieve that. That is the aggression which is constructive. Then it can take the another form. First is the instrumental aggression. What is that? It aims at obtaining an object, privilege or space with no deliberate intent to harm another person. When one is targeting or aiming to achieve any object, it means one is not harming the other person or any object, and he or she has no intention to harm the other person. But in the another type of aggression, which is the hostile aggression, it intends to harm another person, such as hitting or kicking or threatening to beat up someone. You can take the example of a classroom or a school or any institution or any workplace, when one individual is not able to do something, perform something, and observe that the another person is able to achieve, then instead of working hard, one may try to bully that boy, maybe try to bully that student in negative aspect. Then in that situation we can say that this is the hostile aggression, when one is trying to hit or kick or threaten or beat someone in the not required manner, because instead of working hard, one is trying to harm the other person who is just surpassing him or her. Then the relational aggression, which is the next category of the hostile aggression, the damage to another peer relationship in social exclusion or rumor spreading. So these kind of aggression are there. So further we see what are the forms of aggression. It can be of different kind. One can be physical, another can be verbal, then mental and emotional. In physical aggression, one tries to threaten the another person, may try to bully or may try to beat someone. In verbal aggression, one tries to abuse the another person by using the bad words. Then mental, one just tries to pass sarcasm or satirical comments on the another person just to make him or her embrace. And then the emotional, emotional aggression is not less than physical aggression, because in this emotional trauma one may not be able to sleep, take rest, one may not be able to eat well, and in this process the health of that individual may be disturbed. See, in this pic, this is the case of physical aggression. One is trying to threaten or beat the another person. That can be the kind of physical aggression, because in this case one is trying to just threaten the another person. Then this can be the next pic. In this case, one is trying to bully or just giving the emotional or verbal trauma, verbal aggression. So it is also bad. So we can say that aggression can be of 4 types. First is physical, second is verbal, then mental and emotional. All are bad to spoil the mental and physical health of the another person. The term aggression and aggressive behavior are used interchangeably. Aggressive forms of behavior can be characterized by verbal or physical attack. Acts of aggression change during a person's lifespan. When young children lack verbal skills, aggression is predominantly physical. For example, a child is hungry and is not able to speak, may just hit out of love her or his mother, just hitting on arm or anything that I am hungry. So that is a form of constructive aggression. When child is able to speak, then verbal skills are used. When verbal skills develop, they could be used as peaceful communication, but also for aggressive purposes. Aggression, like all types of behavior, involves biological forces. However, biological factors alone do not determine the aggression. There may be social reasons. Social environment of individual is a powerful regulator of neurological process and behavior. Mean to say that it is not our hereditary reasons. This is the environmental reasons also, environmental factors also, which makes one individual angry. Sometimes the experiences go on mounting, go on adding, go on accumulating in the mind of the individual, and suddenly there comes a situation when outburst of anger of that individual is there. It means when one gets angry, one makes aggressive behavior in a destructive manner, then it is not on account of one situation or one occasion or one instance. There may be more than one reasons which have been mounting, which have been added in the mind of the individual, and suddenly there comes a situation, then one is not able to control that type, and there is the outlet, there is the outburst. Sometime we say that I do not have or I could not control my anger. So my dear friends, I do not fully agree to this, because our anger do not take outburst in presence of our seniors or our boss or the persons who are above or are the higher in our hierarchy. So why do we displace our anger to the persons who are lower to us? In the coming time in this session, I will be discussing this, how the displacement of anger happens. Further purposes of aggressive behavior, why one makes the aggression, why the aggressive behavior takes place. There may be so many reasons, so many purposes why the individual is showing the aggression. The first among all can be to express anger simply. Anger is a emotion, is a feeling just like other emotions like love, anger, hatred, fear, jealousy, grief, joy, happiness, and kindness, sympathy. All are emotions which are natural to a human being. In the same manner, anger is also a natural feeling, natural emotion, but one should learn where to express that anger and how to control that anger. So education teaches the individual, teaches the students how to control our emotions, and where to control our emotions, and where to express our which emotion and in which or what kind of appropriate manner. So first purpose of aggression behavior is just to simply express anger, and the another can be to assert dominance. When one is trying to dominate the other person and is not able, then out of his or her weakness one tries to get angry just to be dominate. If you are actually the above or the superior to that person, you need not to be angry. It is your weakness when you show anger to express your dominance. So second purpose is just to show your dominance above on the other persons. Then to intimidate or threaten. Sometime we try to threaten the another person, maybe at workplace, maybe at home, maybe in community, wherever. So when we try to threaten the another person, we try to be angry and we try to raise our voice. Sometimes when we raise our voice, it is our weakness also. We shout and we say, do not do this, never do this, don't repeat it, and you should not this, you should do this. So these are kind of when we try to threaten to achieve a goal. As I have spoken to you just now, that aggression can be constructive also. When one tries to achieve a goal, when tries to accomplish a target and accomplish a pursuit or a task within a stipulated time, then one becomes aggressive in a constructive manner, that what may distraction come, any distraction, any party, anything, but I am not going to be distracted from my target because I have to accomplish this thing. Then no friends, no party, and in any kind of happening can distract you from your goal, because you are firm determined. Then to express possession. Sometime you try to possess the things of another person, or you just take the possession or hold of the any individual. No, you are under me, you are to obey me, and whatever I dictate you have to follow. So this kind of feeling, in the case of showing your possession, one becomes angry, one show the anger which may not be appropriate, because if the another person whom you want that the person should follow you, should obey you, if you are superior and if the other person is agreeing to your ideas or respect you, will definitely obey you. What is the need of showing that anger? Then a response to fear. Sometime one gets angry just to respond to the fear. As I have said just now, that fear is also a natural emotion. Just to resent that emotion, that fear, one tries to respond. Then in this pic we see that one tries to dominate the other individual, and in the next pic one tries to bullying or threatening the another boy. Now we'll discuss what are the types of aggression. First is the relational aggression, that is the harming others through purposeful manipulation and damage of their peer relationship. Then the verbal aggression, a communication intended to hurt another person, or a communication perceived as having that intent, can be spoken, can be written, or can be drawn. Any type of verbal communication using bad words in writing or in speaking, one may just make the other person to be angry. Then the third is the cyberbullying, which is very much prevalent these days. The use of modern communication technologies to embarrass, to humiliate, threaten or intimidate individuals in an attempt to gain power and control them. Bullying over the computer or cell phone. Here I would like to say, in my class when address my students, my audience in the seminar, I say that students these days hardly make use of educational use of the mobile and computer, and they sometimes or most of the time misuses. So it is not good. You just pass or forward the messages which has no meaning, and you do not think that it may hurt the another person, or you do not understand what is the hidden meaning behind it. So sometimes these kind of messages or cyberbullying makes the other person angry, and you just force the another person to make the aggressive behavior. Then the physical aggression, it is just to harm and control through physical damages or by the threat. So these are the types of aggression we have discussed. As I have said, there must be a reason behind the aggressive behavior, behind the outburst of anger. In the next session we'll discuss what are the causes and how can we control the that aggressive behavior and outburst of anger which is not appropriate. I hope I am clear to you, and you must be benefited, and you must be clear to it that what is aggression, what is aggressive behavior, and that aggressive behavior may be constructive and may be destructive, and we'll see how our anger may turn into aggressive behavior which is constructive, and how our students learn to make educational use of computer and cell phones. That's it. Thank you. Hello friends, in this session we will discuss what are the causes of aggressive behavior and what are the measures we can adopt to control that aggressive behavior which is destructive, and how to control anger among our youngsters. Let us discuss. First we'll discuss what are the causes of that anger or aggression. As we discussed earlier that anger always has a reason. So let us discuss how to find out the causes. First is the poor physical health. Our poor physical health may have the reason to make one angry. If one is not healthy, it may be that one individual without any occasions or without any much required reason may burst out. And the poor mental health, as the physical health is important, equally the mental health of any individual is important, because these days due to the advancement of science, physically one individual is not ill, but the mental health is very important. One is always under stress, maybe appropriate, maybe undue, which is not appropriate all the time. Unrequired stresses are there in the mind of the individual which are enough to make individual angry, and in that situation one becomes aggressive. Then environment of workplace or the school, this is very important, we should understand it very well. Sometimes the environment of the workplace is that which makes the individual angry, because there is no job satisfaction. You are more competent, you are more intelligent, but unfortunately you are placed where the environment is not academic or not up to your choice. Then there is no job satisfaction. Naturally one become aggressive, one remains in an angry mood. So sometimes that anger keeps on mounting slowly and slowly, and sometimes it may happen that that anger outburst at a moment which may be not healthy for you. Then individual traits, above all, as we know that there are the individual differences. One is of a calm nature, another person may be of another temperament, one gets angry very soon. So these are our individual differences. We know about the trait theory and type theory of the psychologist. So these are sometimes individual traits may be inherited by our ancestors, that and maybe from the environment also, I do understand, but the individual traits are enough to make one individual angry. Then life experiences, these were very important. Above the hereditary and environmental factors, there are the life experiences. These are our experiences which make our personality. So these experiences, suppose our teachers have been very cooperative. So when we become teacher, we will be very cooperative. And in the same manner at a family, suppose we are brought up in a family where the parents have been very cooperative and very understanding, we will turn out in a same manner. So these traits keep on passing. So these are hereditary factor also, these are individual traits. And moreover, I'll come somewhere in the coming discussion, and I will just discuss here also. Sometime some parents are of the nature that they get angry and they give physical punishment to their children. So those children who are beaten up by the parents physically in their childhood, when they become adult, they turn out to be very hostile, very angry personality. So because our personality is built up in the childhood, not in the young youth. So always remember that what are the experiences which are gained by individual in the childhood, remember throughout, we do not forget those experiences. Then further, relationship with others, our relationship with the other members in the society, with the peer group, with our teachers, with our parents, and with whomsoever we interact, maybe on cell phone or maybe verbal discussion. So these are our relationship which make our personality directly or indirectly. Then stress, sometime we want to achieve a goal with a given time and we are not able, so there will be a mental stress and we do not share with anyone. So that kind of stress keep on mounting, keep on accumulating in our mind, and sometime when we are frustrated we get angry, and sometime in a moment of that quickness we may just say something, and later on one may regret, oh, what I have said, because in that moment without thinking we speak that sentence and later on we regret. Then the peer pressure is a very important term to understand. Sometime in a class or in a group there are students who are from different background, so sometimes economic pressures and sometimes social pressures have undue stress on the mind of the individual. For example, if I take the economic factor, there is a group of the students and some students are of better economic background, they get more money, and some students, some children in that group do not get that required money. So to copy those friends, that child who is not getting enough money may try to get the money from unwanted resources, will try to generate that money, and that stress may mount up in the mind of the individual and may behave in an aggressive manner. So these other factors, when we have come to know that there are various causes which makes an individual to get angry, to make aggressive behavior. Now let us see what are the other factors which contribute to the arousal of the anger. We have come to know that these are the causes, but there are other factors which contribute, like unnecessary interference by parents or the teachers. Sometimes we as a parents and we as a teacher, out of love, out of affection, keep on guiding, keep on giving the instruction to our children, but we do not understand that time that they may get irritated. Now they have grown up and they do not want more and more guidance and more interference, so that time they may get frustrated. And favoritism, sometime in a class when students notice that our teacher is doing favoritism towards a particular child, toward a particular group of students, then the individual who is noticing that my teacher is doing favoritism may become aggressive. And in the home also, sometime when a child notices that another sibling is getting more attention, may get angry. Then the wrong technique, because there are individual differences. We cannot treat each and every individual with the same manner as we treat one individual. So sometimes we adopt the wrong technique, and that wrong technique may spoil the mood of that individual. The presence of many adults, sometimes when individual is putting up in a joint family and there are more adults in the family, so the child will feel that I am not getting freedom, I am not getting space. So the presence of so many adults make him or her to feel insecure. One is not feeling independent. So that kind of factors may contribute, may go on adding the individual to become aggressive. Some other factors are like poverty, as I have discussed with you the economic factors. Then living in violent neighborhoods, sometimes if your neighborhood is not proper and there is violence all the time, then it leaves the impression on the mind of the individual to be angry. Then deviant peers, it is very important to watch the company of the youngsters, company of the children, because you are known by the company you keep. So sometime you are good, but the peer in whose company you are moving, and sometime you do not come to know how how they have deviated you. So peer deviant is sometimes the reason to make you aggressive, to make you angry. Lack of recreational areas. Sometimes parents do not understand that the children want recreation also. All the time we keep on giving them instruction, you must do this, you must do this, you should not do this. So that kind of lack of recreational facilities make the person angry. Then exposure to media and violence. These days more and more violent serials and exposure on the media, maybe in the newspaper, maybe in the TV, maybe in the radio, maybe causing the factors or contributing the individual, the person who is having the inclination toward this side may get more and more ideas. Then bad parenting. So there are bad parenting, I mean to say, when parents do not understand the needs and requirements of the children, they do not give them space, they give more and more instruction, or they just impose their liking on the children. They do not understand their psychological needs. Then in that case we will say that it is the bad parenting, because when suppose parents are quarreling with each other or they do not have coordination to each other, then it leaves the bad impression on the mind of the individuals. When I address my students or in counseling session, I generally use a sentence: when you become parents, you are no more husband and wife. It means you are living for your children, so you have to bother how you are behaving with each other. It leaves the impression on the mind of the children. So we have to be very careful in the class, where or as a teacher, or in the homes as a parents. Then lack of support. Sometimes parents are not supporting, teachers are not supporting. In that case the individuals, the children, the students, they become aggressive. And individual differences have also been identified. Sometimes these are our traits, these are our personality types, that we become aggressive on a slight provocation. So as a teacher, as a parents, we have to teach our youngsters that on slight provocation you need not be angry, because in a moment of that provocation you may say something on that you may have to regret later on. Then the people differ widely in readiness for aggression. See, try to understand readiness for aggression. A slight provocation or slight comment or slight just a comment or any comedy or anything on any just a joke, you get angry. So you have to understand, you have to see the background, who has said it, and what can be the purpose of this comment. So sometimes we feel that one person is more ready to be angry, as you say something will just burst out. So these are the factors. Then accumulation of annoyances. If one is outbursting, if one is making aggressive behavior, it is not due to one occurrence, one comment, one sarcasm, because the things or the comments, they keep on adding, more or less subjective, and its depiction, hidden factors come into play. In day-to-day life, annoyances go on accumulating. An outburst of temper at a slight provocation is not account of the stimulus provided at the moment, but is often the result of small annoyances which go on mounting day in and day out. When a child or an adult bursts out without any serious occasion for it, he or she does so on account of the hidden wrath. See, when I say hidden wrath, it means there may be the other reasons which are hidden and which takes the form of wrath, because that slight comment, that provocation is not enough to make you outburst. At such times, no effective steps can be taken for counteracting the rage. They may rather aggravate the effect, meaning by when one is angry and you tries to calm down, don't be angry. This sentence may aggravate the anger of the person. You are asking me, he may reply, she may reply, you are asking me to calm down and I am having this and this problem. I have been physically hurt, I have been emotionally hurt, and you as a friend is asking me to calm down. How can I calm down if it happens to you? And this way the counteraction with the friend may may aggravate your anger and may just annoy your friend who is trying to calm down you. In this situation, if you try to calm, the person will rather burst out more fiercely. I'll discuss what to do then. Difference in child rearing methods may also lead to different attitude towards aggression. Again, the same parenting style, how you have been reared, how you have been brought up by your parents, what kind of experiences you have been provided by your parents is enough to build up your attitude. What experiences you have gained. Economic factors are also responsible. Suppose you are moving in a group and economically you are not able to meet your demands, your needs, then you become frustrated and you are not able to focus your mind on the study. That's why as a child you have been all the time asked that move in a company which are equal to your status, so that you do not have unnecessarily pressure on your mind, unnecessary stress on your mind, and you can focus on your studies. But these days it is really very challenging for the parents and for the children also, because categorically you cannot come to say how much pocket money or how much money should be given to the children, because it's a very challenging thing. Researchers have shown that parents who made considerable use of physical punishment had children who were more aggressive. So that's why corporal punishment, physical punishment is banned these days in the schools also, because these days the students are very senti, they take it to their heart, they feel it as an insult, because it is not fair to insult or reject the child in the home or in the class, because when one feels that I am insulted, I am rejected, and the favoritism is being done, so or sometime parents as well as teachers, they make sarcasm. Never make sarcasm, never be satirical to your youngsters. You can at a time you can rebuke, but do not insult, do not make use of sarcasm, because these kind of sarcasm is a kind of verbal punishment, and these kind of verbal stress and emotional stress is enough to make the individual, make the child aggressive, and will try to make such kind of destructive behavior so that it attract your attention. So this way the congenial environment cannot prevail in the home as well as in the society or in the class. So never be satirical with your youngsters. Again, I'll discuss the televised violence and aggression. In recent years, there has been a great deal of research with respect to the effect that watching televised or filmed violence has on subsequent behavior. So when you watch that violence in the company of your children, in the company of your students, you must address those children the moral of that violence, ki why that kind of violence has been depicted. If one becomes violent, this will be the drawback, and this can be the harm to you, to individual, and for the community, for the nation as well. So that kind of a moral lesson should be given by the parents and the teachers, just to avoid that kind of aggression. Then displacement of anger. Now what happens? When one gets angry, tries to displace it on the person who is weaker to us. It is directed at something or somebody, not immediately or directly responsible for provoking it. Displacement of anger also takes place against inanimate objects. It takes the shape of wanton cruelty. This is the most undesirable state of anger. Cruelty is practiced and directed against weak and defenseless creature. You will be angry, you will be showing your anger who is weak to you. So this is not fair when you get rebuke from somewhere and you try to displace it on the person who is weak to you. See in this pic, one is not able to focus on the work, then what happens? not able to perform the target, gets the rebuke from the office, and at home just trying to displace the anger on the another person. But my dear friends, along with this displacement of anger, there are few points which tells us that there is some value of anger also. Sometimes we are able to perform a task which we are not able to perform in our normal mood. Sometimes we get aggravated, we get aggressive, and we try to complete that work. The person will be able to take such decisions which he or she never been able to take before his or her anger was aroused. Gets angry and say, oh, I will show you how I can complete. Children frequently express thoughts or wishes in the spur of anger that provide valuable insights into their thinking. Parents are sometimes made to realize their mistakes of behavior because of anger shown by the child. So it has its value also, it has its significance, because I spoke to you earlier that it is a normal feeling, it is a normal emotion, but it is important on the part of the individual, part of the teacher, and part of the adults and parents, that how to deviate that direction and make the individual to be positive or to be constructive. Then the important and the last thing is methods of dealing with anger. What measures we can adopt. Put restraint on one's anger. When the anger has passed off, the individual is encouraged to ask himself or herself give a therapy to the individual and force the individual. Don't tell you should not have done this, rather ask the individual, okay, you burst out, you said this, but now sit quietly in a calm environment, in a congenial environment, and put the question to yourself whether you did right, and in that moment, that occasion, one can analyze where I was wrong. So what will happen next time? The person will analyze and we realize that these are the symptoms which I have to take care. These symptoms, these sentences, these statements make me angry, make me or force me to make aggressive behavior, and will analyze that next time I am not going to repeat it. Teacher can help children in acquiring skills that will enable them to cope better, because the coping skills are to be taught by the teachers, by the parents also, because there is a stress, there is a mental pressure, but we have to teach, we have to help our youngsters these coping skills, how to make adjustment, because when we make adjustment, we are not surrendering, rather we are trying, we are seeking happiness for ourselves. And mind it, this anger or aggressive behavior is not to be seen as a single entity or a separate entity. It is interwoven with the personality of the individual, because it had been keep on adding in our personality. So these are our experiences, how we accumulate these experiences into our personality. So we have to teach our students these coping skills. Hostility can be dissipated harmlessly if it can be expressed in some non-violent way. Common experiences also shows that people who have been offended or insulted feel less hostile after they have had a chance to tell someone. So it is better to share with someone that I have this problem. So it will just, you will be able to give outlet to your anger by sharing with someone. Then the role of the teacher. Last is the role of the teachers. Teacher can help the individual, help the students that try to identify what are the reasons, what are the symptoms where you get angry, what are the reasons, what are the points which triggers your outburst. Avoid threats and excessive punishment. Try to know the reasons of frustration. Teacher can help the youngsters to know the reasons why you are getting frustrated, why you are behaving in this manner. Teachers should avoid excessive personal insult and demeaning comments. Sometimes teachers themselves are responsible to make the individual to behave in that manner and then ask the students why you are behaving in this manner. They do not understand that they themselves are forcing the student to behave in that manner because you already in the previous class or in the previous meeting you just insulted the student in the presence of other students or demeaning comments. So those comments which you made or you passed in the previous class are enough to make that aggressive behavior. Then the students will keep on thinking, how can I take revenge with my teacher, how can I insult him or her. So teacher should keep in mind, every teacher should keep in mind that never try to insult the students. Then teachers can help students in understanding and take hold of their emotional triggers. These days this is very important. Along with intelligent quotient, we have to teach our youngsters emotional quotient, that is how to control your emotions, because if you are emotionally weak you cannot progress. So these days it is very important for everyone to realize, to understand what do we mean by emotional quotient, that is how to control our emotions. Education teaches us, help us to know emotional quotient is where to control our emotions and where to express our emotions and how much, because maybe feeling of fear, anger or kindness or jealousy, if you show any kind of emotion at a wrong place then you may feel insulted. So we have to see where to express and where to control. Then parents should be informed regularly about the performance of their children. There should be a tie up in the form of parents-teacher association between parents and teachers, so that there is a close tie up between the parents and the teachers, and they can teachers can inform the parents here that your child is having some problem, and by mutual meeting, by mutual conversation they can find out the cause and they can find out some measure how to control that. And some other see in this pic, when the mother is giving proper time to the child, then the child is turned out into a happy person. And there are some other measures which we can convey as a message to our listeners, that if you feel angry, there are few measures in general. That is, first is the simple one, count 1 to 10. By the time you count 1 to 10, your anger may pass off. Then you have to, then the exercises, or just roaming or coming out in the fresh air, or get creative. Sometime when you get angry, you just get creative, you just divert your attention, listening to music, making some beautiful painting, decorating or cooking or whatever is your hobby, wherever you feel pleasures. So these are some small tips which can be given to my listeners, my audience, that when you have a such feeling, you can control yourself by using these measures. So I hope all of you may be benefited with these with this conversation, how to find out, how to identify what are the causes of our aggression, our anger, and how can we make it constructive, and what can be the role of the individual himself or herself, and what the role of parents and teachers can be. That's it.
With this note, thank you ma'am, thank you so very much. And dear friends, we believe that if you want to give a feedback, then your feedbacks are most welcome. If you have any queries or suggestions, then you can mail us at info.cc@nic.in. We would be meeting again and would be discussing on another topic of such kind. Till then, take care, goodbye. Thank you ma'am, thank you so very much.
Thank you Geetika ji, thank you listeners.